At the edge of a rain-dark city, the 8 of stray kids found a letter pinned to a broken lamppost, as if the night itself had chosen them. Bang Chan was the first to read it, his voice calm but alert, like a captain hearing waves before a storm. The note said only this: when the bell rings twice, follow the boy with no shadow. If you seek the lost thing, do not trust the doors that open too easily. Lee No laughed under his breath, but his eyes stayed sharp, as if he already suspected the city was watching them back. Changbin folded his arms and said the message sounded like a trap, which made everyone trust it slightly more. Hyunjin touched the paper as though it might dissolve, and Felix stood still with that strange, quiet courage that makes fear look embarrassed. Han tried to turn the mystery into a joke, but the joke failed halfway and became a whisper. Someone pointed out that every mystery begins with something ordinary pretending to be impossible. N, youngest and most observant, noticed the paper smelled faintly of rain, ink, and old stations no one used anymore. They followed the only clue they had past the river and into a district of shuttered arcades, where the windows reflected their faces a second too late. Then the bell rang twice. A boy appeared at the end of the street, walking without a shadow, just as the letter had promised. He did not run. He simply turned his head, as if he had been waiting for them for years, and led them into a narrow building marked with a faded sign, "Lost and Found." Inside, the room was filled with objects that seemed to remember their owners better than the owners remembered themselves. A silver key with no lock, a cracked watch still ticking, a glove that kept warming and cooling like a heartbeat. At the center stood a box wrapped in red thread, untouched by dust. The boy with no shadow said, very softly, that the box contained the thing each of them had been missing. Ban Chan opened it first and found a single mirror, but in the glass he saw not himself, only the faces of the others, each one lit by concern he had not noticed before. Lee No found a small compass that always pointed toward the nearest truth, even when truth was inconvenient. Changbin found a page of paper blank until he touched it, and then it filled with words he had never admitted aloud. Hyunjin found a tiny lantern that did not shine outward, but inward, revealing the shape of his own loneliness. Felix found a pocket of warmth, as if someone had stored kindness there for him and forgotten to take it back. Han found a broken mask that cracked the moment he reached for it, and beneath it was the face he used when he was afraid. Sungmin found a music box that played only when no one was speaking, and in its melody, he heard how much silence can hide. N found a coin stamped with a laughing sun, and with it the sudden certainty that growing up did not mean growing hard. The boy with no shadow then opened the final compartment, and it was empty. There was no treasure, no curse, no grand prize. Only a note written in a hand too familiar to be a stranger's. The karma you were waiting for was already following you. What you returned to the world has returned to you. At first they were silent, because mysteries often end by asking the worst question of all. What if the answer is not hidden, but lived? Then they understood. Somewhere in the city, they had once helped a lost child, shared an umbrella, left food behind, defended a stranger, or spared a cruel word, and the world had been collecting those small mercies like secret debts. The boy with no shadow smiled for the first time, and where his feet touched the floor, a faint outline appeared beneath him. Outside, the rain stopped. When they stepped back into the street, the lamps burned warmer, the windows no longer watched, and the city felt less like a maze and more like a mirror. Ban Chan nodded as if he had heard the lesson before and needed it again. Lee No looked skyward, suspicious of kindness, but not immune to it. Changbin tucked the blank page into his pocket. Hyunjin walked as though the night had finally agreed to be beautiful. Felix smiled at strangers as if he had just discovered a language everyone understood. Han stayed quiet for once, letting the silence speak. Sungmin hummed the tune from the music box. N turned the golden coin in his hand and said the strangest things are often the truest. And anyone watching them would feel it too, that gentle, unsettling certainty that the world keeps score in ways we cannot see, and that karma, when it smiles, does not always reward the loudest hero. Sometimes it rewards the hidden kindness, the shared burden, the choice to remain human in the dark. And if you listen closely, even now, you may hear the bell ringing twice.